right.
Are we here?
We're here.
Yay!
We have the delay, but we're here.
Oh no.
Yeah. It's the sorting of the sorting.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda. So StreamYard added new features for us.
They do have.
We are using them. So we definitely tried to go live on Instagram, and I think we also tried to go live on Twitter.
We are. Hello, Twitter. How are you?
Hi, Twitter.
Instagram. So nice to see you. Yes, we're in different mode now. So yeah, we are everywhere.
We're all the places.
Everywhere.
There's no excuse.
Oh.
Well, unless it's like my brain just skipped the call in.
Right.
And they just like bump our slot.
Unless it's like over on, Blog Talk.
Yes,
and they would just like, you don't have a show scheduled. And it's like, yeah, I do. Had it scheduled every day for 500 fucking years. I know. Screw you and screw this. Hello. Be live. And then we came over to StreamYard. We actually are happy with StreamYard.
Was that what we went to after Blog Talk? Was Be Live?
Be Live, yes. They actually contacted me. And they're like, can you come back? And it's like, no.
I don't remember that going well.
It didn't. The episodes are still up. You can see them as shitty as they always are.
Yeah, StreamYard was the better choice.
Yeah, but we had to experiment. We had to figure it out. Now we got so much damn shit going on over here. It ain't funny. Serving it up everywhere. The only place we're not serving it up currently is the Tickety Talk, and that'll come on its own merit.
Hey, maybe that's next for StreamYard.
Hopefully.
I figure once you pop the Instagram cherry
and the Twitter cherry, I mean, because X, hello X, yeah. Sorry, we're calling you by your dead name. Get over it.
Yeah, that's I if anyone's mad about us dead naming Twitter.
Yeah.
Really. Like, I'm sorry. I put that in the same category as Prince turned himself into a symbol.
Correct.
The artist formerly known as Prince, the website formerly known as Twitter.
Yes.
I just don't feel like saying formerly known as.
Exactly.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So X, get over X.
Yeah. Brenda's with us. She's like, Twitter is a dead name I'll use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Dark Huntress. How are you? I think the only problem we have is you can't see comments on Instagram.
I cannot, so you'll have to feed me those. Hey, Shannon.
Yep.
But no, I think there's a lesson to be learned here. If you're gonna change your name, don't just choose single characters or symbols.
Right.
Especially when they're going to be really effing confusing in conversation.
See,
like, are you going to know what it means when I say I was on X the other day?
Right.
No, you're not. It sounds like I'm forming a quadratic equation in the middle of a sentence.
Well, I'm going to go, oh, so do I need to go kick his ass now or later?
Do what now?
You said you were on your ex, so I'm going to go kick his ass.
Wow, the tune in on you. And this is why it's the site formerly known as...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, Brenda's like, I'd wonder which porn site you were on.
Exactly.
You know? I think that's fair.
Exactly.
I think that's fair.
Right. All right. So, yeah. So they don't have the full integration of comments. We are still the little square box, not the stack on Instagram. We're looking good over on the X. Hi, X. What you doing? Do we
Hi,
really want to
Twitter.
know? Keep your comments and luckily, so we'll deal with all that.
There we go.
Our mods are over on YouTube, and of course, that is our home. Is on YouTube at Aeson Knight. Go over there. If meet our mod team, our baristas. They are kick-ass. They will make you coffee, but also remind you exactly where you stand.
Well, yeah. Plus, if you're watching us on Twitter, we're here to inform you your social media is dying. Please choose another social media.
Well,
for the love of God,
dying. The problem is it was bought by a billionaire as a toy.
Yeah, same thing though, because considering how many people he fired, and the fact that it's now getting overrun by bots.
Yeah.
It's like I cannot go a single day without being followed by a porn bot.
Right.
Which typically I wouldn't mind, but it seems to think I'm a heterosexual male into small Middle Eastern women.
Well, they got none of that right.
None.
It is what it is. So, hello. I know that face.
YouTube even has cookies with the drinks. We're like the dark side, but with cookies.
Better. Anyhow. Exactly. So, we just got back from the Power Weekend. It was fun. We had an enjoyable private party.
Yes, private party went amazing. Actually, the whole trip went amazing. We had great weather, so it was great driving.
I know who you are, Fox. Like, you didn't have to come out of your box.
Oh, okay. What? You talking to the?
I think I knew her username, and it's like, no, I know who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah. But no, it was a really great weekend. We had an enjoyable private party on Friday. We had the Yield Market and then the ball that night. I settled on what I'm doing for my birthday.
Yes, you did. Apparently, it's a pub crawl.
It's not a pub crawl. There's not even enough to crawl through a pub. We're on Stonewall.
Oh, Brenda said, missed you guys. Life just said no. We were wondering.
Yeah, we were wondering.
He was okay when we didn't see you through the market and went, okay, I really think she meant she was going to come out for the ball. And then as the night went on, he just kept kind of doing this look to the left, look to the right, look back to the left. That's weird. I would have thought she would have been here by now.
And they're like, she must not be coming. That's okay. You can join me at Stonewall. The baristas will know when my birthday is and when I'm going up there for another Aeson After Dark. Which, we're going to have to be careful when we do go up there because something happened that hadn't happened in like 15 years.
Yes, you were missed, Brenda.
You were very well missed.
Yeah, she was coming for the ball originally, which is what you thought.
Right.
But, yeah.
Yeah. So even though Miss Brenda wasn't there, we got to see some.
Oh, we had a great time.
We had a great hilarious, wonderful time. There was a Krampus.
We had Krampus.
There's photos for our baristas. You got to see our Krampus photos.
Did you post my Krampus photo? You didn't even send me my Krampus photo. You posted my Krampus photo?
Yes. It's in the Patreon. All you got to do is log in. It's right there.
That's great for them. I would have thought, I don't know, being Mrs. Aeson Knight, I could have gotten a forward.
No, I'll put them into the scrapbook.
Okay.
But no, so I decided to, since there's only 2 original bars left in West Virginia, technically only 2 gay bars in West Virginia, I'm spending my birthday at the other one.
Yes.
So we will be at the Stonewall.
And you did. You managed to get Buzz. That was kind of fun.
No, Aeson managed to get trashed. That was trash.
Ooh, there was actual trashing of the Aeson.
There was trashing of the Aeson. The backroom done it. Apparently, like everything else in my life, I have to have high shelf alcohol. Lovely, cute bartender misread my order and gave me a fabulous drink.
Yes. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Like the front bartender was making you happy just in general.
Yeah.
And then we went back to the back room, and I forget you got like a vodka and Coke.
Vodka and Coke.
Yeah, and I think it was about 80% vodka.
Like 100 it was 99.5% vodka and a taste of Coke.
And a splash of Coke.
Right.
Ooh, yeah, that'll kick butt.
Yeah, and it was Grey Goose, which I hadn't had Grey Goose for a couple of years.
Your goose was cooked.
Yeah, did cook my goose. And then after that, I went right into my liquid cocaine, which was enjoyable, but not the right liquid cocaine. Apparently, there's 6 of them, so I have to go figure it out.
Oh, no. That sounds like a horrible problem to have while standing at a bar. I need you to make 6 liquid cocaine so I can try them all and figure out which one is the one I like.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Whatever shall he do?
Call an Uber.
Hi, I'm Uber.
Yeah. But, throughout the night, I had a few screwdrivers. We have determined that, Smirnoff screwdrivers are dangerous.
Well, that was your takeaway, and I think it's because you can drink them fairly quickly, and when you're stacking them with other alcohols, woo, it sneaks up on you and just goes, bam!
Well, I can drink them fairly quickly. I can drink all the drinks very quickly. Like, I pre-plan in my head, okay, this is what I'm drinking. This is how long it should take me to drink this. Especially up at, brain fart. Vice versa. Their fucking drinks are huge. Or at least
they don't do anything by half measures.
No, they don't. There ain't a rock glass in the building.
Like the buffet is huge. All the bar drinks are huge. Like everything's huge.
Yeah, everything is huge there. Had an enjoyable show. Lovely young artisans. They'll be picking themselves up, and there's one there that I think has a lot of talent. Just needs the exposure.
Which is kind of hard to do with things we heard while we were up there.
Right, but that's for Friday night.
That's for Friday night.
All right, guys. So we had a guest. They apparently didn't think that they could do the show tonight. So you guys are going to get a mixed bag because there's been a lot of breaking news, a lot of things we're following up on. And of course,
it's a happy little tree show.
Yeah.
Like we're painting it in as we go along. It's a happy little tree. We're just going to fill in some spaces.
Right.
It'll be good.
So breaking while we were gone, there was a lot of different things going on all at the same time. Interestingly, breaking literally 40 minutes ago, Colorado. Good job, Supreme Court. Trump is disqualified from the 2024 ballot. Good job.
Very well done. Very well done. Gotta love that.
Yes.
No bad things are occurring there. I mean, how many charges do you have to have against you?
Right.
Before it's like, right, this might not be the best situation to elect a president in.
Well, he's not a president. He's a failed coup leader. He needs to be stripped of all presidential benefits. He needs to be thrown out and fed to the horses. Can we tar and feather seal? Does anyone still have a railroad tie to run him out?
I don't have the energy to tar and feather. Can we just let him take a nice golden shoot vacation?
Well, he
Golden
is
parachute
in
vacation.
good alliances with, Russia. I think that he should be put up and shipped out.
It would make sense. I mean, realistically, you did a lot there. Not gonna say you did a lot of good, but you did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Take the victory lap. Just go retire. Just go retire.
In Russia, where you belong. Your hookers are waiting for you. They've been drinking beer all day.
Oh, there is that.
Yeah.
All right.
So, coming back into orbit, because when I go on the road anymore, I am not keeping up with news. I am not keeping up with stuff. There was an interesting statement coming out of, Ruby Frank's lawyer about, this bond hearing they're finally holding and how she's working to improve herself and yada, yada, yada. That bond hearing got turned into something a lot different coming, the morning of the 18th, yesterday.
Yes. So it started as a bond hearing, ended in a plea hearing.
Mm-hmm.
That is now scheduled for sentencing on February 20th.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, which apparently that plea agreement described new details of the abuse the children endured, right, including the claims that they were possessed. Under the plea agreement, Frankie agreed to serve a prison term, and the sentences will run consecutively. Sentencing would be up to the judge. And then pled guilty to 2 other counts, court record said, and was returned to custody after the hearing. So yeah, under Utah law, second-degree aggravated child abuse can be charged if that person knowingly or intentionally inflicts serious physical injury to a child or causes or permits another to inflict serious physical injury to their child. Each charge carries a sentence of 1 to 15 years in prison. All right. Now here's the thing. We know that what was also occurring, because this happened last week.
Yeah.
And we were kind of, this was where I think you thought you were going to start tonight, like earlier in the evening.
Mm-hmm.
Before like this all broke out.
Right.
Was that, so apparently her husband,
mm-hmm,
had already taken an agreement to testify against Jody Hildebrand.
Well, her husband's going, I'll testify against whoever.
Well, fair enough.
Give me my children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I ain't playing games anymore with you dumbasses.
Yeah.
I done what she said. I went away for a year, and this is what I come back to. A son that can't use one of his hands. Scarring on all 4 arms, legs, and everything else. Yeah, I say Kevin Frankie is a little pissed, and he's finally filing for divorce.
Yeah, I think the shell shock of that whole situation just finally broke.
Right.
At least for Kevin.
Right.
So yeah. What I'm not seeing is like there's all the details of what she did.
Right.
What I'm not seeing in this is whether she has to then in turn testify against Jody.
She does have to testify against Jody. But what I found interesting is they dropped the charges of starving her children because both of them were emaciated terribly.
Oh yeah, the list of things that basically she did to her children that
right,
she's pleading to are horrendous.
Right. And what I do not like is like the way they're reporting it versus what actually occurred.
Okay.
Okay, if you look at the Twitter beat of ran on dirt roads barefoot. Franklin acknowledged that abusing her 9-year-old daughter by forcing her to work outside, run on roads barefoot, and go without food and water.
That's different.
Yeah, that's different than what actually occurred here. We're talking she forced her children to live outside in Utah in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
From May until August, they were outside like animals.
Mm-hmm.
They were fed like animals. They were forced to run miles. We're talking about a 9-year-old girl being forced to run a dirt road barefoot for miles,
Mm-hmm.
forced to do hard labor for days, and repeatedly telling the children that she was evil and possessed, and the punishments were necessary for her to be obedient and to repent.
Yeah. That sounds like when you've hit the point of I don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore.
Right.
So we're just gonna go off on this abuse tangent.
Right.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
And because I would hope this wasn't like item 1, do this. In the Jody Hildebrandt playbook.
Right.
I would hope there are a few intermediary things before she got here. Which kind of lays out this idea that none of what she was doing was functionally working.
Right.
And that it would devolve to here. Because I would be really horrified to think this is where she started.
Well,
and we're going to start here.
This is where they started at. That the children are possessed. They're evil. The only way they'll ever can be loved was if they put them through this torture. The son, who escaped, was put through much more. He's the one that's scarred for life. They had to do surgery on his wounds. His wounds were down.
Pepper and honey will do that.
Yeah. Ropes were used to tie together handcuffs to secure his hands and feet as he laid on his stomach, lifting his arms and legs off the ground and injuring his wrist and ankle. So they hogtied him with ropes that should not be used for tying. And she admittedly kicked her son with boots, held his head under water, and smothered his mouth and nose with her hands, according to the plea agreement.
Right. Yeah. No. I mean, it just kind of sounds like Jody Hildebrandt was watching The Handmaid's Tale and taking notes.
Well, see, she may have inspired it because we've heard from her niece that this was common practices when Jody was in control of her niece, raising her after the family dropped her off for the holidays and left her for a year.
Oh, sounds like a great family. I mean, granted, don't necessarily know what the situation was. I assume it probably, for most people, wasn't bad enough to drop your kid off for a year.
No.
But fundamentally, not really, no. So more frightening is this is when she got caught, not when she first did it.
Right. This is
Jody
a repetitive pattern for Jody. For Ruby,
yeah,
like how do you brainwash someone this bad? How do you brainwash someone to believing that this was okay to do to your children?
See, this is where I think we have to almost jump over to cult mentalities and how cults work and how charisma works and how you generate this suspension of disbelief.
Right.
Because that basically sounds like what happened here if you want to make any kind of logical sense of what occurred.
Right.
And I'd say more so what's frightening with Hildebrand is that some of this may have been okay. So someone randomly shows up and decides to start a cult, and all their culty things. Generally that is a fortunate circumstance of like insane belief plus charisma that equals into devout followers and insanity ensues.
Right.
Okay. There's also the potential if you are, a mental health professional.
Right.
You can hack it apart, do those things intentionally.
Right.
And effectively use the elements of a cult to build your business and your brand.
Right. And I get that, but what's even scarier here?
Oh, I think that's pretty effing scary when you intentionally build a cult by hacking the mental tricks through usage of what's supposed to be a helping profession to do so.
Right. But
like that's pretty sinister.
Right. But what gets me even more worrisome is there are other clients of Hildebrand's that are running around with these ideas that you do this for love. You do this so, this is how you get your children to repent and be good little children. Fuck no. Okay, there are so many problems wrong with this. I don't know where to begin. Okay.
I know where to start.
Tarring a feathering?
No. The fact that these people are going to still be so engrossed by her.
Yeah.
That even with the charges, even with the evidence, even with her going, and I'm assuming we're all making assumptions right now because all this is alleged and blah, blah, blah. Court case, yada, yada, yada. We'll get there. But even if she goes to prison, even if, all of that occurs, these people are still going to be locked in on Hildebrand was right and she knew what she was doing and she helped me save my child.
Right.
And it's just not gonna. So if you want to talk about how do you fix this, which is probably a big hopeful wish list of things.
Right.
This isn't just, okay, go put her in prison, make sure she never practices again.
Right.
This is dig back through all of her client files from the beginning of time, track all these people down, and start offering mental health and support services to hopefully fix what she did.
Right. And then the bishops of the Mormon Church is going to have to get off their asses and start checking themselves because she was being paid by the Mormon Church to provide roping and handcuffing of children.
Well, and I think that also starts with putting yourself
right
in recognition of the fact that what you encouraged was wrong. You effed up. You shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And then working to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Right.
Like, what do you need to do as one of the religions feeding her clients to ensure that this is not the kind of provider that is representative of who you're sending people to.
Right.
And sit in the horror of the fact that you sent people to her.
Right.
Like, and recognize that's you have potentially contributed to the horrors.
Right.
And like, she didn't get here by showing up with a cardboard sign.
No.
Like, you brought her in, you gave her the white glove treatment, you propped her up on a shelf, said, here, go here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you encourage this.
Right.
Like, sit with that.
Right.
Like, imagine that coming into your home and
right.
your family and happening to your children.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think needs to occur?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, you need a timeout to go figure this out.
Well, I think that they need a timeout to go figure out, now what do we do? What should be the what is going to, and I'm watching what is going to be the reaction of the Mormon church, because they still haven't even thrown her out of the Mormon church. She's still in good standings with the Mormon church. How is my question?
Yeah, like if Jody Hildebrand is still in good standing with the Mormon church, how do you ever sit there and say, yep, these are people to associate with?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, no.
Right.
I mean, like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
I mean, I think all religions have this idea that there is a chance for redemption and salvation, blah, blah, blah. I'm fine with that. I don't think you need to sit through in good standing with the church while that occurs.
Right.
If the rapture occurs tomorrow, maybe Jody Hildebrand should be left behind.
Right.
Like, send a second bus.
Right. Not a second bus. Like, not even a first bus.
I'm just saying, there's probably some people that could use a little extra time to get their shit together before you rapture them.
That's debatable. Well, just go ahead and take them. They can fix it on over there. Get out of my way.
Well, I thought that was what the whole good standing thing was about.
Well, yeah.
Eternal damnation, blah, 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 must be in good standing, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Terms and conditions do apply.
Should apply. Can I cancel my membership anytime soon?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, we're in the holiday mess. It is a mess that has been a continual mess for a couple centuries now.
Holy crap.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So which specific holiday mess are we in?
Oh, just the standard, trying to, everyone's trying to get the right present for everybody. Everyone's alone. The Christmas trees are a debacle. Families are getting all torn up over each other, and nothing's getting done in the employment world.
Okay. That's a lot.
It is. It is a lot. It is insanity, going on. So we have all that in our boxes. So, I thought we would also just kind of take a look over at Psychic Subreddit. Y'all guys seem to like the Redditors.
That's fair. All right, where's my link?
I'll get it for you in a minute. I gotta get on and let the mouse choose it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we're just bebopping along.
We are. This one looks like a great conversational discussion. Oh, dear God. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. All right, Manchester, you know your deal. You better behave or you'll be boxed out like you've been before.
We'll dispatch a Krampus.
Or 4.
All right. So, from our psychic, how to develop my child's psychic abilities. Hi there, new to the sub and looking for some advice. My wife has psychic abilities. She's able to read people's minds. I believe my daughter may also have these abilities. Are there any recommendations for cultivating this gift? I wouldn't want it to be in a pushy way, more of a fun game-like manner. I don't even want her aware of what I'm doing. FYI, she is 2.5, but very advanced. She is already reading, knows basic science concepts, addition and subtraction, etc. Thanks.
You allow them to develop naturally. You should not be doing those. Oh, it's time to work on your tarot and it's time to do yoga and it's meditation. You have to allow them to create. You have to allow them to build. You have to make it not a game, but just part of life.
So basically, it's hold space for that.
Exactly.
As in, try not to be creeped out and scream at her when she says stuff that is like, there's no way you know that.
Right.
Or you shouldn't say things like that.
Exactly.
Now, I think, though, that brings up an important topic.
Okay.
Because starting at 2,
Mm-hmm.
how do you start communicating how to best relay information without freaking out others?
Well, that's when it's like,
or is that even really an option? Is that just
not really
like it comes
There's
out?
really not a control there.
Okay. I was curious,
Right.
because sometimes that seems to be the bigger topic.
Exactly.
Is my kid's creepy as fuck? How do I shut them up? They're saying like, oh my God.
Right.
Like, stop it.
Right.
Versus where this is at is like, no. How do we make this, like, how do we do more?
Right.
Which, I mean, kind of great, but.
Well, and it's the thing about how to do more, and it's a muscle. If we look at example, if she was a sports actor star, like, and yes, my eyes are itching for some reason.
Oh no.
If she was a young Tiger Woods, they were playing golf at 2. They were using the clubs at 2. They were on the field with their father at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like any other muscle. It's kind of like when you know things, and it's like, oh, that's so interesting, honey. Wow, you were right.
That's not been exactly my experience. You had one where it's like, shut the fuck up.
That's because of when and who you said it to.
Sometimes my mouth opens and shit comes out, and I'm like,
yes.
It's not like I sat there and went, how can I freak these people out?
Yeah.
My mouth opened and just the most absurd thing flew out of it.
Right.
But damned if that wasn't like, boop.
Right.
Like, apparently if certain activities have a face.
Yes, they do. And
I read them.
Well, you read them, but it's like, shut up. We just talked about that in reading. We are not dueling services anymore.
Yeah, you were. And I'm like, what? What did I say? What?
Yeah.
Like, like, don't go there. Like, seriously?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and it's like, shut up. Shut up. And what he did was, I done a reading. He was doing couples photos.
Yeah. I'm standing over here doing couples photos. I have people.
Yeah.
He is in a totally different room doing a reading. There is chaos around me.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been around me, my hearing's not that great. I mean, I'm not deaf or hard of hearing per se, but you put me in a large room,
right?
I'm average. I'm like, I'm not sitting there with like eagle hearing.
Right. All right. So let's move on to the next one.
All right. Over here. Oh, do foods or supplements enhance extrasensory perceptions? Hello, our psychic community. I'm curious about the intersection between diet, supplements, and extrasensory perceptions. Have any of you noticed certain foods or supplements that seem to enhance your psychic abilities or extrasensory experiences? Are there specific diets or nutritional strategies that you follow to support your psychic practices? I'm looking for both personal experience and any scientific insights you might have come across. Any suggestions or advice on this topic would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
And this is the thing. People don't get this, but I see it happen commonly. And it takes a little bit for people to get it. More foods with life in it, you have higher psychic perception. Caffeine, stimulants, everything that goes into your body affects your ability to read. There's a reason we call it Aeson off duty. It's because the only thing Aeson's going to read is your outfit. When I'm drinking. Why? Because I don't want to read during that time because I don't have the built-in filters. The next morning, I ate a very heavy breakfast. Normal mornings, food is not of interest of me, but it's following like psychic diets, high energy foods, high things of coffee. I find that a lot of psychics will inhale coffee. If they're doing a lot of readings, they move up to espresso. And we all like our energy drinks. Why? Because it pushes that perceptionary area. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
You know, if we're eating junk food, and I do mean junk, food that is, you know, heavy processed, total fake, was killed in the 1900s and is now being presented to you on a plate. Hello, Bob Evans. Not going to do you too well psychically. What have you noticed, dietitian or wise? Did you hang out with a lot of us, dear?
Yeah, there's that. Right.
What have you noticed, dear, dietitian or wise?
In terms of helping your extrasensory perceptions
Or
is diet in general. I've mostly noticed as long as you are maintained, you are mostly fine. Like as long as you're not getting into any like severe deficiencies, like dehydration, like. But I have noticed that like after events, there is the immediate greasy food / sweets.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't know that I've specifically seen points where you've been like, wow, this really helped with that mediumship. You know what I mean? Or like, wow, that tarot card reading was really easy because I had.
You're right.
I haven't seen those, but
the diet, you know, the things you see similar between all of us. I find some of them highly interesting, and I'm seeing if you picked up on them. We all basically do coffee and morning shakes.
Oh yeah. Well, see, I've been more interested in the overlaps of medical conditions.
Right.
That it's kind of like, let me tell you who a psychic is, and I can just start listing off conditions.
Okay, go for it.
As in there is most likely some version of a dyslexia,
Mm-hmm.
attention deficit,
Mm-hmm.
or autism.
It's just spicy mind.
Yeah. So spicy mental. Generally there is an autoimmune.
Mm-hmm.
Like that tends to do more with anyone who does any kind of mediumship. Like that's when it's more pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
But it cross populates a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A fair amount of like debilitating exhaustion for any number of diagnoses. And I struggle to really sit there and like list them all out because I have my own thoughts and theories on this. Because I think that's become a cauldron. Sorry, I thought it'd be a fun pun of like a catch-all.
Mm-hmm.
Of different issues that I think are far more related than they are,
Okay.
than they're made out to be.
Okay.
That like they, I mean, have you seen how some of them break down? Like chronic fatigue is different from this, that's different from that, that's different from this other thing.
Yeah,
And it's
someone
just
has
like,
gotten a post-it note happy over there in the
right.
classification department.
That's what I'm saying is, so we're going to go with debilitating levels of fatigue and exhaustion.
Okay.
Like there's some version of that comes and goes in waves.
Right.
Either for an extended period or for like this constant.
Right.
I've also noticed a fair amount of bipolar disorder. Like not all the time, but it seems to
See, I don't think it's manic depression. I think it's related to energy and being able to acknowledge, like, no, I'm zero fucking energy.
Yeah.
Because if you're tired, you're going to be cranky and moody.
Right.
If you're fully energized and running on on alpha wave, you're going to be all over the place.
Right. And what I'm saying is these are technical diagnoses that people have.
Uh-huh.
That I've noticed crop up a lot.
Right.
Like statistically, it's a little higher than it should be.
Right.
Like a lot. Like if you cross-section population and any specific industry,
mm-hmm.
these are the ones that keep popping up that seem a lot higher than averages.
Right.
No way am I saying this is your diagnostic criterion for being psychic, gifted, clairvoyant. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I find it interesting that these
I also
things...
find it interesting that all of us have skeletal problems. All of us have some level of a vitamin D and B deficiency. I find it interesting that spicy neuro is all over the place. A lot of times people throw bipolar when it's not bipolar A or B onto it. It's more so related to, like, it reacts as bipolar, but it isn't bipolar.
Well, more to the point, I was just focusing on these are diagnoses that people have been given, not necessarily whether or not the diagnosis is accurate.
Right. Because then they do the meds, and it's like, no, that doesn't help me.
Frequently, yes. Although, again, we're not encouraging people to go off their meds, nor are we encouraging you not to seek treatment for your medical conditions.
Exactly.
I'm just saying it pops up a lot.
Diabetes pops up a lot, too.
Yeah, diabetes has a little bit higher incidence than normal statistical population. Like, I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't swing a cat in a room full of psychics without hitting 5 diabetics.
5? More like 50.
In the distance of a cat. 50. Like, I'm just saying, you like if you randomly walk into a room full of psychics and swing a cat, you're taking out 5 diabetics off the top.
Right. And then you have what I call the other psychic health life things. the switching in and out of body. Like they will lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. And if they're eating high vibe foods, they lose weight. High vibe foods, fresh.
Food. The one I actually thought you were talking about for a second, but I think is important is time blindness.
Oh yeah,
which sometimes is coincidental or like corollary with, or not corollary, but part of what it's part and parcel of like other diagnoses, and sometimes it just isn't.
Nah.
Like there's no other diagnoses, there's no real sign of other diagnoses. And for some it's just early, but the ability to like the real struggle with time. And like not just like, well, you were playing a game, you lost track of time. But like this you could be sitting on a couch and suddenly 4 hours pass and you don't know what the fuck just happened.
Right.
Like you sat down, you did nothing.
Right.
4 hours evaporated, you don't know where they went.
Right.
Like it's not a seizure. Although I will say seizures also pop up a little higher.
Right.
But yeah, no, the time blindness, that one I've seen a lot.
Right.
Like, yeah, there's a fair amount of that. Yeah, Shannon forgot her meds, blinked, and it's been 6 hours. Oopsies.
Yeah. Or you have checklists to do showers and getting really, really confused when everything isn't there.
Well, now sometimes those are like self-diagnostic criteria. Like if you build up enough of them, please take yourself and get diagnosed, because most likely you do actually have a neurodivergency, a spicy neuro. Because after a certain break point, like no, that's spicy neuro. Like we know this.
Yeah.
Like we have seen it. We like, especially like spicy neuro.
Well, and I think that may be because the psychics use a whole separate part of their brain for their work. Like there's this whole other, firing mechanism that goes on, and then the conscious isn't in the brain half the time, and then it's got to regulate this damn body. Fun. Yes, eating is lovely. Drinking food, eating food, digesting food, lovely concept. But when you're out of the body half the time, you forget it. All right, so we got another one that I think is interesting.
All right, so clairvoyance. Do you think your ability is one that can be developed? I know that the clairs are something each of us has to some extent, but how does one develop clairvoyant skill? For those who already have it, do you find it intrusive and scary, or have you honed your ability into something that you can consistently use and are comfortable with?
Yes, it can do developed. Yes, you have to work it. It is like a muscle. You have to mentally work it 2 and 3 times a day and build up.
Okay.
Like, what's mom doing right now? How's the trip to Walmart's going to be? Should we double check our list to make sure that everyone is up to date on our Christmas card list? Who's not up to date? What, do we need to do here? Going psychically first and then going physically. You'll start to notice that building of the track.
Well, and more so creating a tunnel for it to exist in.
Yes.
That is self-directed, because I know you also bring up the sometimes if you're having a lazy day and little Aeson Fufu got out of bed and went hop into the Walmart. Suddenly he's in Walmart getting the lowdown on shit he didn't want to know about.
Right.
From people he don't know. about issues that are none of his business.
Uh-huh.
And he's having to very quickly try to shut it down.
Or shut it up.
Well, that's the more important one.
Right. But also, within that, there is, you have to maintain a strong mental focus. You have to also build like your meditation, your yoga practice, your physical exercise practicing.
Oh, picturing parking spaces while pleading with the parking lot guardians to show them where you want to park. Says Brenda. Yes.
Yeah. That's great practice. I don't plead, I demand. Remember that, because you're a human, therefore you have dominion over everything earthly, including parking lot guardians. But things have to work. And I think it took Joe a little while when I say, no, this is what I'm doing. These are the things that have to occur. If I'm going to be at this speed, I've got to do these things. And I think that is something that no psychic manual talks about, no training manual talks about, no, program out there talks about, is like, if I want to be on, we'll call it super mode, I need to make sure that my meditation is down, that I've got the journaling done, the house is clean and decluttered, everything that takes up mental space is handled. That's the reason I have planners, so I don't have to take that mental space for that. Those things are in place, and things become patterned so that it isn't using brain power.
Mm-hmm. Well, personally, I think that's just a great life skill.
It is.
Like, honestly, some people are just out there, and I don't know what else to call it. You're raw dog in life, okay? You're just out there. Right. You're just inserting yourself and thrusting your way through.
Right.
And you were running back and forth across the house and making 50 trips to the store in a day, and you just bless your little hearts.
Right.
But you have the ability to do that somehow.
Right.
But if you want to move forward in your life,
right,
you got to get a list together
and
and put it on lock. Because you can't do anything like that except that. And I think sometimes that also becomes very important,
right,
as part of,
right,
like Wiccan practice, as part of being psychic, as part of being like, if you want to do these things, you cannot show up a whole ass cluttered mess,
right?
Because things aren't going to go well.
Right.
It's gonna end disastrously. Right. Like there's no good version of a scatterbrain psychic.
Right.
There is no good version of a scatterbrain spell working.
There's no good versions of either, but it occurs. And I see so many young psychics coming in. They ain't got their crap in line. They don't have, their life in order. They run on empty. They don't have a plan. They're doing their accounting in their head. They're banking in their head. They're handling their husband in their head. They're handling their schedule in their head. They don't have rhyme or routine. They hop online. They do a reading or 50 readings. They hop off and they feel like garbage.
Yeah. Like that basically gets into you're doing psychic junk food.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not going to feel good.
No, it's not going to feel good. It's not going to work. It's not going to lead you to where you need to be. No. It's not going to even get you to the point where you need to feel right. And then you get sick. I've sat here and watched it. My lovely team of 5 psychics, they all hit the networks about the same time. Love them dearly. And I just sat back and watched, and I had preached, have a schedule, have a routine. Self-care, highly important. Make sure you shower before and after work. Make sure that you're eating well. Make sure that you're drinking enough fluid. caffeinated or uncaffeinated, I don't care. I count fluid ounces. Mm-hmm. And we're watching them train. Like little tracks on a train, and it's like boom, sick, boom, sick, boom, sick, boom, sick. Oh, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, y'all didn't listen to anything except how to press 1.
Well, it's not that they didn't listen, they didn't see the immediate connection.
Right.
Like, and I think that happens. Is it's like, okay, boomer. Whatever. I can do this my way.
Uh-huh.
And we actually have like one of our dear ones actually has said those words.
Uh-huh.
She'll know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Is because she even says it about herself. I have to do it myself and figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then she turns right around and comes back and goes, "You were right. This only works if I do this." And it's like, yes. It's so. I mean, it's a little more endearing to watch because, like, she hears it. Mm-hmm. It goes on the blackboard with everything else. Mm-hmm. Like she writes it down, at least mentally. She knows it.
Mm-hmm. She can repeat it back.
And then she like turns to the side and goes, "Now I have to physically do it myself."
Uh-huh.
Okay, these parts don't go together like that. This doesn't work.
Right.
What did Aeson say? Oh, right. Okay, so let me put this one here and that one there, and oh look, that works.
Yeah.
And she's so very happy. Mm-hmm. And it's adorable. It's adorable. Mm-hmm. It's adorable. But there is sometimes that moment of knowing, as you're saying it, mm-hmm. we're going to revisit this conversation in a few months, and she's going to be like, "You know that thing you told me?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which thing? Oh, about how you have to go and walk every day and go to the gym and have a meditation practice and, mindfulness practice and, journaling practice and call it whatever you want to call it. It's still journaling.
So after not doing that, I did that and it works.
Duh.
Like she is the built-in control group though.
I know.
Like she is self-aware when she's doing it.
Right.
Like this is not the thing I was told to do. I have to figure this out on my own. Right. She's our built-in control group. You want to know what happens when you don't do the thing? Mm-hmm. She has notes.
Right.
And it's like part of me just has like a for the scientific method involved here that she knows. Mm-hmm. She knows.
Yeah.
And like it is a built-in control group.
Yeah.
Like,
but these are things that most people probably do not think that is incorporated in your business as a psychic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and then there's the whole business of being a psychic versus being a psychic.
Yeah.
Like those are two very different things.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes kind of funny the preconceived notions people have.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to no, this is a business.
Yeah. No, there's boundaries.
Like it has all the business things.
Right.
It has ethics and taxes and agreements and software and
right.
Just because it does deal in like otherworldly things.
Yeah.
And the primary business tool may be tarot cards.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you get to show up and just be some random bag lady like spouting some nonsense that doesn't make any sense till 15 minutes later.
Right.
Like you don't you really don't want to do it that way. Like
right.
You can. It's generally not like a good idea.
Well, and then there's like laws and regulations and crap that has been added to the deck. Like there's a whole big chapter of it.
Oh yeah. Well, and then that gets into a whole other discussion.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, don't Brenda says, yep, boundaries are a big thing when reading or even not reading. And sometimes that gets into like some like you can go into some like rhetorical arguments with that.
Mm-hmm. Like, am I reading Joe, or am I just know that Joe needs to like get with it real fast before I lose my ability to deal?
Well, yeah, there's that, like not abusing and actually reading.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why he doesn't read for me.
Right.
Because there's it no. Um, it's just there's too much opportunity there to start inserting yourself into the reading,
Mm-hmm.
which is reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's kind of in the same line, not
Right.
necessarily saying it's the same thing, but in the same
Right.
mental thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Why you probably don't want your doctor spouse to be your primary care physician. Because
Exactly.
at what point are they taking care of your health care
Right.
under your direction for your needs and, you know, like they're supposed to?
Right.
And at what point have they become a de facto authority
Mm-hmm.
and you're no longer making healthcare decisions?
Exactly.
They're making them for you. So there's that, but I was also kind of going into the realities of just in a reading and sometimes sluicing out,
Mm-hmm.
depending upon a person, either how you tell them something,
Mm-hmm.
or sometimes even if you tell them something.
Right.
Because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
there can be more to the story, or the story isn't quite the thing that gets said, because that's not what they need to hear. And well, now, I mean, this is sometimes a thing that readers do, though.
I know, but
Like,
I tell them as it is. They
mm-hmm,
like it or they don't.
yeah,
I've been in that position of, well, do you really want told what your man is doing? He's boring. He is sitting on the couch watching a damn TV show.
mm-hmm.
You know, stop worrying about him. And they're just all like, okay. Someone pull out a soapbox, someone call for a refill on their coffees. It's going to take a minute. Things I will not do. I will not view your boyfriend's Instagram for you. I don't care about what he posts on Instagram. I care what he feels about you. I will not do fear factor reading. What do you mean by fear factor reading? Oh, well, if he's on a dating app, well, he has to be cheating. No, he doesn't have to be fucking cheating. His friend could be stupid. He could be on a dating app because he never closed the dating app.
For
There's
those
100 different
reasons.
reasons there. Don't be fear mongering your clients.
Yeah.
That's just bullshit. Um, and then I don't do control on my clients. Like, call me in 2 weeks and I'll tell you if I sense the energy is going to change in about 2 weeks. So call me in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, but then there's the other form of control reading that you get ticked off when clients ask for.
Mm-hmm.
I know notoriously it was two sisters
Mm-hmm.
who tried to use you as an intermediary.
Right.
Not to just pass messages, which would be one thing and would be like, how juvenile are you in this moment?
Right.
But literally one would book an appointment to tell you what to tell her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other one books an appointment and would then tell you what to tell her sister.
Right.
Neither of whom ever got that message.
Right. Yep. And
it was
then,
just,
let's go on to the other part of this that just drives me a little batty sometimes. Inventing new crap to hook your clients on. Soulmates, twin flames, Love blocks. Love blocks are not love blocks. There's no blockages in your love life. There are problems that you need to work on.
Calling it a love block is probably a nice way of saying, bitch, you fucked up. You need to fix some shit.
No, it's a great way to say, I can help you remove that for $5,000.
Well, there's that, but I think
I can
maybe
reunite you with your twin flame for $5,000.
Well, there's that.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Nobody can force anyone to take on a relationship they don't want.
Like, it's not a sewer pipe. There's not a fatberg in your love life.
Right.
But we're not saying that maybe the reason you're having problems in your love life is because of some shittiness.
Well, it's, not having negotiation, agreements that are being held to, grievances when agreements are not being held to, and trying to enforce control into relationships. Guarantee you, those three factors will destroy a relationship very quickly. If you assume your mate understands the words that you are using without codifying them, then you're going to have problems. If you two don't co-negotiate your needs, you're going to have problems. If you make agreements and someone doesn't keep those agreements, you're going to have problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
do it.
And then the other one is jealousy, realizing that every day you're choosing, just regular, please. You're choosing to be in a relationship with someone, married or not married. You're choosing to be in that relationship. Yeah.
Or conversely, you're choosing not to be in that relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's a two-way door.
Yeah.
Like it swings both ways. You can choose your way out, you can choose your way in. Like it's a constant series of doors that swing both ways. In terms of you're either going further in or you're coming out.
Exactly. Now, this one, oh please. Can we just fucking not?
Yeah, Brenda saw one that claimed to give you messages from your soulmate that you haven't met yet. Yeah. Well, now Brenda was also saying, I was just laughing because I talked with Aeson about a friend I had to set a no, I will not read for you anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
And that happens when, and I have people I will not read for. I will not read for my family. I will not read for my family's extended family.
Mm-hmm. Though actually that's sometimes for two very different reasons.
No.
Sometimes it's the same reason.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's also like there's an opportunity to abuse that.
Right.
In the extended family.
Right.
Like just we're big proponents of if you actually respect someone's reading enough to seek it out.
Mm-hmm.
Respect it enough to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
Like respect it as a job, not like, a useful service to you that you think you're entitled to by existing.
Right.
Just and I'm not saying that about any of my family members. Just FYI, just saying.
Right.
That's a reality.
Right.
Like,
I don't harass relationships or negotiations every day.
I have a sibling that is an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
She
ain't touching my books.
Well, but fair. But if I were seeking her accounting advice, I expect to pay for that.
Right. But things like that. She ain't touching my books. No. I haven't. He has a sibling that I love her artwork. If I want a piece, I buy it.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that do gorgeous artwork. If I want it, I buy it.
Ooh, Shannon's bringing up. I read that Myth of Twin Flames book you gave me. And every time I hear people talk about twin flames, I cringe a little.
Understandable.
Talk about a fucked up marketing campaign.
Oh, talk about marketing campaigns that continue for fucking centuries.
Like, it's the De Beers diamonds are forever.
They are. Diamonds are forever. They are a lovely investment that should be bought very often.
So says De Beers.
And so says Aeson.
So says De Beers.
Gold, silver, sometimes platinum. I love titanium. Diamonds, rubies, onyxes, nice hard stones. Yes, please buy them. Buy me plenty of them.
You labeled him a vampire. He's actually a dragon. That's all I'm
saying. I am both.
You're a dragon vampire?
Uh-huh.
Oh, my God.
I
feel like I messed up.
No, I find this highly interesting.
Okay.
Here's what I find interesting. Since we had that lovely debate, and I said, fine, I'm going to go ahead and take on that moniker because it's fucking useful. Do y'all know that I'm beginning to see psychics actually advertising it? And I'm like, really? YouTube, you lied. You lied bad about my show and my view watchers.
Yeah, no, things might be getting redistributed outside of our... Yeah, diamonds are forever. The relationship, however, might not be, says Brenda. Yes. Oh.
All right. Now it's time for your plea of mitigation.
Oh, am I the asshole for not spending Christmas with my family? Hi all, first time posting. I hope this all makes sense. I, 23 female, have been living with my now spouse, 26 male, for 2 years now. We moved in together in September 2021. My spouse is trans, which is important to the story. The first year I moved out, we did Christmas with my family. They bought presents for him, and it was all really sweet. 2022 comes around, and we finally announced to them that we are dating. I am more or less disowned at this point. I was raised in a religious cult, and they think that being with my spouse is a sin, as he is, quote unquote, not actually a guy. My mother told me to my face that she was ashamed of me and couldn't even talk about me to my family. Understandably, we took a Christmas trip in 2022 and didn't spend it with them at all. This year, my younger siblings, I'm the eldest female of 8 kids, have been asking me to spend Christmas with them this year. I will bring them their presents, but I refuse to spend the actual day with them all. This is not because of my siblings themselves, but because of my parents and how they've treated my spouse and I. I have explained this to them, but they keep telling me that they don't deserve to be punished for what my parents do.
Then then they shouldn't see spending Christmas with your parents. It's not hard. We go on.
I understand that, but at the same time, seeing my parents is unavoidable, as all of these siblings are under 18 and live at their house with no transportation or anything. My mother was very hands-off with my siblings, so we're all pretty close since I raised them. I miss them and feel guilty about not spending so much time with them, but also feel like I'm allowed to set boundaries and say I don't want to spend time with people who won't even acknowledge that I'm married. Am I the asshole for not doing Christmas with my family and doing my own thing with my spouse?
No.
I picked this one because I think it's a good reminder that sometimes there are unintended consequences that come out of one or two family members being like choosing hate. That creates problems for a lot more people. that it does, like, it makes so much sense in this situation to go no contact with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, their siblings are stuck in the crossfire, at least until they age out and can choose otherwise.
Right.
Hopefully they can choose otherwise. It sounds like they don't have a problem.
Right.
Like, no problems are had by the siblings. And
Well,
it is very sad you're not the asshole.
I don't think they're the asshole. I do, however, feel that, you have to make it very clear while you're making choices. You also have to make it very clear that, you aren't going to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think there's the one point you end up having to make is you're not out to punish anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But in this situation, they have chosen to punish you, your parents have, for your choices.
Right.
And that's not something that an adult has to take.
Exactly. That's not something anybody has to take.
But the unintended consequences of your parents' choices are that you are not going to be comfortable to be there for the holidays.
Right.
That's just not going to happen.
Right.
And shouldn't. And that can sometimes, depending upon ages, for the kids involved, be a hard concept to really, because there's the emotional, that I want, that isn't tempered by, age and reason.
Right.
So it's a sucky situation. I wish you many, 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 many future happy Christmases with your siblings and your spouse. And perhaps sometime a miracle of miracles in which your parents get it.
Right. You're not the asshole for not spending Christmas with people that tax you, do not respect you, or acknowledge your marriage.
Yep.
Or do not acknowledge that their behavior affects your life.
Or your spouse, or how they have chosen to act towards your spouse.
Right.
And consequently, you as a result.
Right.
That's not... That is not a Christmas spirit anyone needs to go visit.
Well, it's not a Christmas spirit anyone needs to visit, but it's the reality. It's the reality of, you draw boundaries. Mm-hmm. Christmas and, holidays don't change those boundaries. You don't, why can't you just, do it this one time? Just for Christmas. Can't you be nice to them No! Fuck no! They don't change their behavior. They haven't apologized to your spouse. No.
Well, for me, I think it's more to the point of, like, the parents can choose this. We can all choose whatever we want to do. Mm-hmm. But all choices have consequences. And this is where that goes.
Right.
So again, the parents are the ones that made choices.
Right.
This is the equal yet opposite reaction to the choice they made. And like 1,000 miles off, should have been able to see this coming.
Right.
But this is what a healthy ability,
right,
to lead one's own life and to, make choices for themselves looks like.
Right.
And I think your siblings, even though this is hard, will learn to appreciate
Right.
why you've done what you've done. Like right now in the immediate gratification, it sucks.
Right.
In the long-term lessons for you don't have to take this from anyone, including our parents.
Right.
Because this isn't about caring about you.
Right.
This is actually quite the opposite.
Right.
So, and that's probably the more valuable lesson.
Right.
Then if you apply enough pressure, people will capitulate to what you want.
Yeah.
Because fundamentally, if you do this for your siblings and you show up for Christmas and you smile and you nod and you put yourself in a little bento box and do the things,
right.
Then you fundamentally teach that your parents
right.
and their demands, unreasonable demands,
right,
that you will have capitulated to, in one way, shape, or form, is how the world works. Right. And then your siblings that you've basically raised will learn this is how you interact with the world, that you can make unreasonable demands of people.
Right.
And you should expect them to meet you.
Right.
Like we don't negotiate with terrorists.
No. We don't negotiate with terrorists. We make sure that dinner is at 5:00 on Christmas because, that
everyone is welcome.
Exactly. And we make it very clear, this is the standards we are having.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to relation. Oh, is the poll up?
The poll is up.
Yay.
Vote over on Aeson Knight's YouTube channel.
There we go. All right, so relationship advice. My 31 female boyfriend of 5 years, 31 male, dump or date? As stated in the title, I have 31 female, been with my boyfriend, 31 male, for 5 years, 6 in July. We have had a tumultuous relationship for sure. First couple of years were filled with screaming matches and brawls, no physical hitting, but things were spiked on the ground, etc. After the first 3 years, we moved in and the fight slowed, nearly stopped. We only have maybe 4 to 5 a year and usually 1 to 2 full-on blowouts. That being said, I'm wondering if it's time for me to throw in the towel. I've said since the beginning I wanted to get married. Before him, I was in a relationship where I was engaged and it didn't work out for catastrophic reasons. Sounds fake, but not really, not on me. I was ghosted after 2+ years and an engagement. Knowing this, he has continued to date me. Regardless of the pushes, warnings, urging of all of our friends and family, he still will not ask me to marry him. And every time I bring it up in context of I'm getting tired of waiting, I'm met with something along the lines of I never said I was marrying you, or I'm so close, but then you do things like this. Literally anything I don't agree with him on and fight back. When we're good, we are the best of friends. I really can't imagine a life without our bond, but we had another fight tonight about an old friend of his who has disrespected me and I'm not a fan of, 32 female. And I was told this is another reason he won't ask me to marry him, because I won't just let it go. Our lease is up in March on an apartment I've never been able to afford in a place I never wanted to live. He makes $100K a year and I'm a freelance artist. He holds me to 100% equal in the New York, New Jersey area, so it's expensive as fuck. He's from New Jersey and refuses to move or even think of living anywhere other than this exact area. I guess I'm wondering, is this normal compromise, or am I truly sacrificing my whole life for a man who will never deserve me or see my worth? Am I wasting my only years left to have a child with a man child who isn't worth all I'm potentially giving up? Oh, can I just like, oh,
You can
wow.
dance in here, yes.
Okay. Like, if this were an Am I the Asshole, it's like everyone is shitty here. Okay, girl, slow your roll. Slow your roll. Slow your roll.
Right.
Okay. I like, you're not blameless in this. You are not the Madonna. You are not just the most amazing thing who is just waiting for this man.
Yep.
This isn't a fucking Hallmark movie, okay?
Right.
Like, part one.
Right.
Like, slow your roll. You're catastrophizing. You are way out there.
Right.
Second of all, do I think you're wrong to dump him? Hell no. This is, you are 5 years, 6 in July. You told him from the beginning you wanted married. You have done everything, and I do mean everything, to try to drag him down an aisle. Meanwhile, you're already unhappy. This isn't the life you want. This isn't the man you want. These aren't the issues you want.
Right.
You are fighting this. You are pushing a rope uphill.
Well, not only that, but you're dragging it along with Dead Man Rope.
Yeah, it's this relationship's dead, been dead. You're just holding each other back.
Right.
Like, there's no, like, there, I'm sorry, it's just, this is dead. Like, bury it, move on, find your happily ever after, because it's not him.
Right.
Because this isn't, and you strike on it, this isn't normal compromise.
Right.
This isn't compromise. You need a dictionary.
Yes, they need a dictionary. They need real life examples.
Like, I don't think you're truly sacrificing your whole life. Like, again, you seem to have a lot of black and white, extreme view thinking. It's not that either. It's just, you're good enough.
Right.
Like, neither of you are exactly bad people. You're not horrible, toxic wastelands. You're not doing anything really wrong.
Right.
You're just not right for each other.
Right.
But you seem to have come out to the dating market after your last relationship disaster.
Right.
With a man trap.
Right.
And were determined that whoever came next was gonna marry you.
Right.
Okay, so not to go too extreme, but you basically went into dating like it was a hostage take situation.
Right.
Like, you're gonna meet my demands, you're gonna marry me, you're gonna be the one. You have no choice.
Right.
Like, you get on board the train, you're in it for the long haul.
Right.
He's basically told you all along that wasn't where he was at, that he is not sure, that he did not, like 1,000 ways and gently as possible, he has tried to tell you, we're not getting married.
Right.
Like, I think somehow he was trying to also, or would have ghosted you somewhere along the way, but knew that was going to be a trauma unfold. Right. So instead, he's been stuck.
Hi, Slim.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, I want to attack the full commenter, not just the do you dump him or not. One, you are 30 damn years old. You have at least 15 years to have children safely. After that, it's a roll of the dice. There is no fucking alarm clock ticking on your head going, he's the best loser. Take him now. Ding-a-ling-a-ding. He's a dumbass now. He'll be a dumbass later.
Well, he'll be wrong. He's wrong now. He'll be wrong later, and you'll be tied to him for 18 years.
Exactly.
If not the rest of your life.
Right.
Do you really like you think this is going to get better when you're no longer together and you have to co-parent?
Right.
Like, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to get better.
Right. He doesn't want to live where you want to live. He wants to live in New York. Why anyone wants to live there is beyond me.
Hey, whatever rocks people.
Right.
Though she makes valid points, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
But no, you've listed out all the reasons this isn't working.
Right.
Why do you need to have a death nail?
Exactly.
Because see, this is what kills me is people keep like relationship advice. I swear to God, they will sit here and list out perfectly sane, rational reasons that this isn't gonna work.
Right.
And then but I think maybe I'm wrong and I'm just not trying hard enough or whatever.
Right.
And it's like you're looking for a death nail. You're looking for a fatal flaw. You are looking for a complete indictment of this is a sewer human before you'll be like, I think I should leave.
Yeah. First of all, why have you been here 5 years? Why have you been here 5 years if there are so many things wrong with this relationship? Okay. First of all, why are you begging him for a ring? Don't ever beg a man for a ring.
More importantly, stop putting everyone else up to it. More importantly, if you're not putting everyone else up to it, hi, everyone else.
Right.
Stop doing that.
Right.
Stop trying to force people into marriage.
Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Right.
Stop.
And you're not best friends. Because if you were best friends, your best friend knows where you want to live, knows what your life wants to look like, knows where you need things to be.
Yeah. And more importantly, do not make this an ultimatum. Please, for the love of God, do not make it an ultimatum. Just be done. And do not respond if he suddenly goes into, here's the fucking ring.
Right. So because in February, you're going to go apartment hunting. Where you want to live. Get you an apartment. Move your shit out by March. Tell him that it's over. Tell him that you're moving on. That doesn't mean you can't still talk to him, but you need to move along with your life. This man is not aligning with your ideas.
Yeah, so Shannon's saying guys who insist on 50-50 and not equitable bills like that, when he makes that much more, he's not looking to build a life with you. I mean, the kind of life she wants, no, but he's willing to take, a roommate with benefit privileges that cooks his dinner, folds his clothes, and irons his shirts.
Right.
Like that, no, this is what this is.
But see, I have a different take on this. And this is my view from it. He is demanding to live in this area. He's demanding to have the Pacific zip code. Fine, he can pay the bills for that. If I look at Joe and say, we're moving to upper state New York because I want to go stay at Lilydale, I want to go study at Lilydale, those bills become my bills.
Yeah.
Because the only reason we're there is because I want to study at Lilydale. The only reason that she's in New York City is because he wants to live in New York City.
Well, or more to the point, you assume we have to be in Lilydale.
Right.
Like, if a relationship is possible, it will work under many conditions. Right. Up to and including we live in 2 different states, zip codes, and everything else in 2 different houses, and we work around that.
Right.
It's really not that big a deal.
Right.
And I think sometimes that can be a very sincere relationship problem. And I'm not trying to go into some like crazy, nonsensical,
Mm.
like, fairy tale wonderland.
Right.
I'm saying legitimately,
Yeah.
there are couples
This is
and
becoming more of a thing.
virtually any couple.
Yeah.
If you are capable of lasting, if this is a solid relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you can remote it.
Yeah.
You can do it from anywhere in the world for as long as it takes.
Right.
Now we see a lot of flack for long distance relationships. We see a lot of issues in distance relationships. Oh yeah, it's going to show you what the hell your relationship problem is real fucking fast.
Well, not only that, but it's going to make you. And the reason you see so much flack about it is long distance relationships take work. They take twice the amount of work because you have to communicate. I'm not feeling good. You have to communicate the things they normally see out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Slim Goody says that I was with my guy on and off for 11 years. Didn't beg for a ring. Didn't really require much of anything. Now we have a wonderful 3-year-old, and we have since separated. And now he has a new girlfriend. That happens. Sometimes children don't fix it.
Well, and sometimes you get what you want, and then you have to ask, do I want what I got?
Exactly.
And again, we get so wrapped up, and this is, I think, part of your problem with this whole twin flame, forever love, the Mr. Right, singular, there is no other. Like, if you miss your soulmate, then you're just fucked for the rest of your life. Like, if your soulmate got hit by a train, we're sorry, you're screwed. Try again.
Go join a nunnery. That's not how it fucking works.
That's not how it works. And it's I think of sometimes a very juvenile concept of relationships.
Right.
To not think, or more importantly, to be so entitled as to think that you're just supposed to show up.
Right.
And meet the one.
Right.
And then it's just all happily ever after.
Right.
And save yourself for marriage and all that blah blah blah. Okay, and even if you want to do that, that's a thing.
Right.
That's on you, boo-boo.
Right.
But the idea that the universe is so simplistic that you might not have to go through a few people to learn some shit so you can appreciate someone later.
Well, that's understandable. My other viewpoint of it, and then I'm going to take Slim. I'm going to use you as an example. Not saying this is your situation, just use you an example. The point may have been that the soulmate may have been the child that came out of that relationship.
Yeah. That's what you were supposed to get. This was if you wanted a child, this is how you were going to get it.
Yeah. Mission complete. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, like your children and your like husband do not have to be the same person.
Right.
Your children and your wife do not have to be the same person.
Right. But are they soulmates? Yeah, they're one of the soulmates. They're not the only one. We never come down to this plane of existence now having only one soulmate that we have to hunt down and find.
Yeah, it's over. It is overhyped, over-marketed as this romantic, sexual thing.
Right.
And it's like, yeah,
right.
See, that seems a little one-dimensional, don't you think?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're really gonna go off, like, I'm just saying, as the little atheist boy,
right?
If you're gonna go, like, let me critique your religious perspectives. Doesn't it seem a little one-dimensional?
It is
to like come from this omnipotent, whatever, omnipresent, omniscient, blah blah blah, ball of light. And the best you can do, the best you can do is a fucking marriage.
Yeah.
And one of them, just one soulmate, for that.
Right.
Like, you couldn't come up with something better?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that sounds like a shitty religious belief. Can I just say, like, that seems a little uncreative, a little uninspired.
Very much so.
Just my take on it from Little Atheist Boy. Like, if I'm gonna sit over here and go,
right,
like, we're gonna entertain this structurally, seems a little one-dimensional. A little bland, a little lacking, a little monochrome.
Exactly.
Like, do better. Like, I'm not impressed with like that kind of religious belief. It seems a little simplified.
Exactly. And with that, you got to look back and go, nope. That's not as simple as it is. There's a lovely, different, tight connection, and there's a whole different layer of contracts and where things go and how they pull together.
But then meanwhile, I've always just had this idea, like, I've never had a real problem with the end of a relationship.
Right.
Like, I think maybe I learned something. Maybe I needed the support along the way. Maybe, this was my clue. I was on a right track.
Right.
Maybe this was, something. Something. Whatever it was, was it good sex? Was it entertainment? Was it teaching me new things about myself? Was it learning lessons that I needed for a future relationship? Like, I can't get necessarily mad because someone wasn't Mr. air quotes to hell and back, Mr. Right or Mrs. Right or whomever. I think it just seems a little short-sighted.
Well, not only is it short-sighted, it's just wrong. It's the situation for the time, the lesson for the time. I've dated some doozies. I've dated some great guys. I've dated some of them, I'm like, God, the LSD must have been good.
What was I on, and can I get more of it?
Exactly.
But at the same time, I think there's also, like, what are your outermost parameters?
Right.
Did you learn that from that relationship? Good. Yeah. You added to the list of things that you will and will not seek in a future partner.
Exactly.
That you will or will not tolerate, that you will or will not. Like, I think all of that is, again, if you're looking for a relationship, just add water. I think that's kind of dumb.
Well, it doesn't work that way. And that's the hard facts of it. Relationships are not just add water. They have not made a microwave relationship. They have made a microwave hookup. They have made a short-term fix the problem, fix the issue. They've done that quite well. But they haven't done anything else to it.
Here's my whole thing. I appreciate all your exes.
Yeah.
You delivered him safely.
You're right.
If I'm not the end of the line, I will try to bubble wrap you and pack you appropriately.
Right.
For the next one.
Right.
And I won't be mad about that.
Right.
I will feel gratitude for the fact that we had this experience. And, feel honored that I had that opportunity.
Right.
And I think if we all were to approach relationships, I mean, there's some garbage humans on the planet. Right. Let's not discount that. I know I'm getting a little, woo. There's some garbage humans, and the only thing they needed was an orange jumpsuit and thrown in a prison and just, like, forget them.
Right.
But for the majority.
Right.
Instead of looking for fatal flaws and how there's just such a toxic wasteland, realize that you were here for a moment to do a thing. You've done it. Move on.
Right.
It's okay. Good job.
Right.
That's not a fail.
Exactly.
I mean,
no, it's
like,
not a fail. You know, and there's like looking at my relationships of the past. There's only one I regret, and I don't even regret the relationship. I regret after the relationship.
was it trying to make it work? Was it a like?
No, it was can you just go the fuck away? Do I have to get paperwork for you?
Oh, that's the cutest comment ever. Brenda says, Joe, if you're not the end of the line, we will require visitation rights. That is fine.
Yeah.
I am there for the visitations.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel like I have to have animosity.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I struggle with this concept of people as property and I've got to go piss on the boundaries. Like, why?
Exactly.
Why? Why are we doing this? We're grown adults. People make choices. People aren't right for each other.
Right.
Move on.
Right. And do it smartly. But don't be making choices because you think there's some ticking clock above your head.
No.
You know.
And more to the point, again, the entitlement.
Yeah.
You're entitled to a child?
There's plenty of them. Pick one up.
You know, there's a lot of children in the world. You can be a mother a million ways.
Well, and people do not like that idea that no, there are lots and lots of children out there that need homes.
And the horrible realization sometime of maybe you're just not mother material. Like this, and I don't mean that like you'll make a horrible mother, blah blah blah. That's no. I mean, maybe you're meant for more. Right. Maybe you're meant for different. Maybe you're meant, and being able to embrace the idea,
right,
that there's more to life than being a baby factory.
Right.
Like, you know, you may have grown up in it, be steeped in it, whatever. Maybe that's not where you belong.
Right.
Like, let life happen.
Right.
Stop trying to force it into this perfect checklist.
Right.
And, you know, well, I've done my duty. I can die now.
Right. And I'm going to put this out there because it's not put out there enough. Any woman that still has a functioning ovaries and a functioning womb can get pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Currently on record, and this is on record, the oldest lady is 74 years old when she had her child, and she had twins.
And let's hope that kids, they keep you young. Really applied on that one.
Right.
But more to the point with that is it's not going to be as easy as two teenagers in the backseat of a car. Right. Where that shit just seems to be like, you know, wah, like every time it happens.
Right.
It's not going to be that easy.
Right.
But possible.
Right.
But it also means you have plenty of time to stop, sit back, and go, is this really what I want?
Yeah.
Like, before you get driven and you at all costs, you're going to do this.
Right.
Sit back and go, is this really what I personally want?
Right. I mean, I don't know. How old was Janet?
Pardon?
I'm trying to remember how old Janet Jackson was when she had a child.
Oh.
Hello, Google. The power of Google.
There we go. So Shannon says, yeah, my mother-in-law had issues when I told her I wasn't having 12 kids just because they wanted a son or grandson. She was very upset, and I was just, no, kids are expensive.
Right.
Like,
oh, there's actually more than just Janet Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
4 celebrity moms for the first time at age 50. Janet Jackson, Naomi Campbell, Diana Keaton, all were age 50 when they had their first child.
Mm-hmm.
So, third, I'm in the last year. Bullshit. Fire him and get a new one.
Yeah. Eartha Kitt was older.
Yeah.
I think basically her child was basically a premenopause, like literally the end before menopause.
Right.
It was like the one last hurrah.
Right.
Like she got a baby.
Right.
Again, it happens.
Well,
and
your mom was 45 when she had you.
So. Oh yeah, I was multiple levels of not supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Like was not. I wasn't the first child. I was the last. But I was multiple levels of this was not supposed to occur. It happened.
Right.
You know.
Right.
All right, so her daughter was born in 61. And that would have made Eartha Kitt. Well, she wasn't quite as old as I thought she was, because 1927 to 61 is still late 30s. Yeah. I think, roughly. Y'all can do the math. I think it's...
She was 34.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but talking about the early 20th century.
Right.
To mid 20th century, that was considered an older mother.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, not impossible, but, okay, this is a little more complicated.
Right.
Like, so, yeah, no, but she was not as old as I thought she was.
Exactly. All right, guys. So let's go and check out the poll. For those that don't know, we stream over on YouTube and we pop a poll up there so you can vote whether Joe's the asshole of the week or not. And it has been ruled, no, you're not the asshole for refusing to put up with your parents because your siblings want you to when they cannot respect you.
When the parents can't respect you.
Exactly. All right, guys. It's been great streaming over on all the platforms now. This is amazing. We really, really like this. We're on, they've still got to expand. They're still working things. We're always cutting edge here. If you guys want to reach me for reading, you can do so over at aesonknight.com. For private appointments, I have on-demand services there. I have emails there. My astrology set, my yearly astrological transit reports are up on sale for 2024 for $24. They go up after the first of the year. And I'm going to be online taking calls later tonight, all that fun jazz.
Also, awesome.
So that leaves it over to you.
All right, so Vanna's taking it away. Of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits they receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yeah. And with that, guys, you have a great night.
Bye.